Hello my dear students, welcome to computer science class. Now let us continue with our chapter, that is Introduction to C++. Before we start with the further topics, let us have a quick glance on the previous topic what we have discussed. We have seen the classification of constants and then we have discussed the character constant. So what is a character constant? Character constants represent a constant represents a single character which has to be enclosed in a single quotes. So how we have declared the character constant? By specifying the data type, by specifying the name, then by using assignment operator, then specify the character and which should be enclosed in a single quotes. We have taken the example as char ch is equal to p, but that p should be enclosed in the single quotes. We know that these character constants will have associated with the numerical values, and those numerical values were being called as ASCII value. ASCII actually stands for American Standard Code for Information Interchange. This is very important. What this ASCII codes actually act as? They act as a common language between the different manufacturers of the computer so that the computer can share the files and the documents. Okay, so we have the ASCII values they have provided to the special characters. ASCII values are being given to the uppercase characters, lowercase alphabets, and then it is also given to the numbers. Okay, then we have also seen the escape sequence character. It is very important from your exam point of view. What are escape sequence characters? Okay, therein you have to write the definition and quote one example. So therefore, what is the need for having this escape sequence character? First thing is, they are the non-graphic characters which cannot be directly entered. Okay, they cannot be directly typed from the keyboard. Suppose for example, we have taken the new line character. New line character actually stands for \n. You may say that only n we can enter. If you are entering only n, okay, computer may consider it as a character constant and it may have the ASCII value. Okay, n it will be considered only as a character there. It will not provide you the new line. The contents will not be given into the new line there. So how do we define that escape sequence? It is a special string that is used to control the output onto the monitor, and hence they are being represented by a single character, then preceded by the \. And how many memory it will be taking? Usually 1 byte of space the escape sequence characters will take. Say for an example, null character, right? In string constant, when we were discussing, I have shown that how the null character is being given. Null character is being given with the \. Okay, \o it is being given. That's how the null character. This is the null character. This is one of the example for the escape sequence character. Usually they take 1 byte of the size. Therefore, here now this is what is the example for the string constant. Am I right? So string actually the what is the memory here taken by the hello in the memory is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But because of the presence of the null character, the size of this particular string it will be 6. What I am trying to say is, the usually escape sequence characters takes 1 byte of memory space. Fine. Then we have discussed about the string constant. What are the string constants? String constants, if I have to represent any sequence of characters, then I should go for the string constants. So wherein it is nothing but the sequence of character, but it should be enclosed within the double quote. Usually by the help of arrays, we are able to store the sequence of characters with the help of the string constants. And how the characters will be stored in the memory? It will be stored as a contiguous memory location. That means continuous, without any having gap. The data, whatever the string you have given, now this is hello is a string. Okay, C++ programming is a string. Why I am able to say it's a string? Because it is a sequence of characters which are being enclosed under the double quotes. I hope you are able to understand. Then we have discussed about the punctuators. Punctuators are usually, they will be acting as separators, right? So these punctuators actually gives the syntactic and semantic meaning to the compiler. That means what? They specify the rules and the logic. It provides the rules and logic, because whenever I have to define more than one variable, it should be separated by the comma. It's a rule. Understood? So therefore the punctuators, example for the punctuators like flower brackets, round brackets, okay, hash, okay, comma operator, semicolon, okay, all these comes under the punctuators. So but they themselves independently cannot be used, okay. Usually they will be abided by some programming elements, okay. So that's all about what we have discussed in the previous class. Now let us move on to the very important 5 marks question you can expect here, that is the operators, that is the C++ operators. Say for an example, we have different kinds of operators here, like arithmetic operators, relational operators, bitwise operators, okay. Suppose if you have to perform any mathematical calculations you have to perform, then you can use the any available arithmetic operators which are already available. Now therefore, what is an operator? An operator is a symbol that represents an operation to the compiler, okay. An operator is a symbol that represents an operation to the compiler. Say for an example, plus, minus, okay, division, multiplication, modulus operator. By looking at those operator, it will give certain meaning to the compiler that addition has to be done, subtraction has to be done. So therefore, the definition of operator, it is a symbol that represents an operation to the compiler, right? Then what is an operator? We can also refer it as, it is tells the compiler to perform some specific task, like mathematical functions, mathematical task, it might be logical manipulations, it might be, okay, relational calculations, it might be, okay. So there are different kinds of task could be performed by making use of the C++ operator. Now here in the C++ operators, we are having actually the unary operators, binary, and the ternary operators. So what is this unary operator? The term unary says that it is a single. Unary operators will usually operate on a single operand. Okay, unary operators usually operate on a single operand. Then what is binary operator? Binary operators are the one that usually operates on two operands. Say for an example, plus. A plus B. Plus is an operator which is working on the two operands, that is A and B. Similarly, we have the ternary operator, wherein ternary operator is the one operator which can perform it can perform on more than two or more operands, it can perform the task. Fine. So this is usually operators are having unary, binary, or the ternary operators. So there we usually operators in C++ are classified as as I said, arithmetic operators we have, relational we have, then we have logical operators, fine, then we have bitwise operators, unary operators, conditional operators. Conditional ternary operators can also be referred as in conditional operators here. Then we have the shorthand operators we have, and finally the assignment operator. See, assignment, one of the assignment we have seen, when I say int a is equal to 10, that statement when you encounter that single what equals to sign, you are saying actually it's not equals to, it is an assignment operator. Now I hope you are able to get an idea, because already you know about assignment operator. Similarly, we have the different types of operators, so that we can easily understand whenever if it is any calculations has to be performed, whether it is an arithmetic or relational or the logical. Now let us move on to the first one, unary operator. As I said, unary operator is a one, it actually operates on the single operand. Say for an example, that is A plus plus. Now this plus plus, isn't it, it is similar to the C plus plus, already we have discussed this part, right? So C plus plus, when I had said plus plus is an operator, it's an increment operator. Okay, it's an increment operator. Say suppose for an example, A will be having the value as 10. Okay, when we have that the operator, when we write the instruction as A plus plus, this A value, whatever the value of A will be there, it will be increased by 1, and therefore the new value of A will become as 11. Okay, so how it is happening, how the operations will study in further, but I just wanted to say you what are the unary operators and how they will be operating on the single operand. Now herein, this one is an operator, this is operand. Similarly, binary, it operates on two operands, as I said, as a plus. So plus is an operator, A and B are the two operands. I hope you are able to understand. Fine. moving on to the first one, that is arithmetic operators. So in case of this arithmetic operators, as we know, they are always the binary operators, because you see here addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulus. So all these are the operators which usually works, okay, always work on the two operands, not usually, always works on the two operands. Therefore I can refer the arithmetic operators to be as a binary operator. And which kind of data type it will operate? It will operates on for all floating point and the integer numbers. Floating point in the sense what? Fractional numbers, okay, and then the integer and numbers in the sense what is that? Is a whole numbers without any fractional part. So on all floating and integer numbers you can use the arithmetic operators. Now let us assume A value to be as 10 and B value to be as 20. That means what? This is an assignment operator, right? This what you are using. This is an assignment. The value 10 is being moved into a variable A. Similarly, the 20 is being moved into the variable as B. I am repeating these things so that you can clearly understand. Fine? Okay. Now this is the operator, this is the description, and this is the example. In examination, they'll give the 5 marks question, or they may also ask for 3 marks question. Okay, explain the arithmetic operators with an example. Like this they will be asking. So in that case, what you have to do is, you need to completely write this table, the operator, the description also, plus you need to code the example. Now this plus, it adds the two operands. Operands are what? A plus B. Say for example, A value was 10, B is 20. Therefore the 30 will be the value will be generated. So I hope this I know that this concept is very easy, but still I need to cover up this cover this topic. So next operator we have is the subtraction. So subtraction, what it happens, it subtracts the second operand from the first. When I say A minus B, it subtracts this second operand from this particular first operand. So therefore A minus B, that is 10 minus of 20. It is 10 minus 20 means obviously it will be having as minus 10 as the answer. Then we have the multiplication operator. So it will multiply both the operands, like A into B, that is 10 into 20, that is 200. So similarly we have divide operator, divide the numerator by the denominator. I hope numerator by denominator, we have taken the example, that is B bar A we have taken, that is B bar A means what is the value of B, that is 20. 20 bar 10 we have definitely the value as answer we will be getting as 2. Then we have the modulus operator. Modulus operator, see, division operator always gives you the quotient, but the modulus operator will always give the remainder. Remember, modulus operator will always gives an remainder after an integer division. Integer division means after an whole number division, any whole number like 50, 51. 10, 20, all these are the examples for the integer. Okay, so therefore they have taken B mod A. B mod A means what? 20 mod A. So that is 20 mod 10. So 20 mod 10 when you do, we are getting definitely the quotient as 2 we are getting, but what does the remainder remains? You do the division and see the remainder we will get as 0. So this was all about the arithmetic operators, but still one more different example also I am explaining so that you can understand the arithmetic operators. Now let us consider the int. Okay, this is the data type. We are considering the variables A, B, C, X, Y as well as Z. Now assume A value to be as 100 and B value to be as 5. Okay, so I can even write in this way also. One way you can write this way also as, okay, this is the extra example I'm just showing you so that you can clearly understand. Okay, so I can even write the statements as this way. Okay, the A plus B, the value whatever is been calculated will be stored in the variable that is C. I hope now you are able to understand how this assignment operator works. So just for an example I have even written here. So the what is the value of A will be replaced with the 100, B will be replaced with the 5 here. So 100 plus 5, so 105 after calculation, that 105 will be moved in a variable that is C. Now what you are seeing this double slashes, no, this is nothing but it is a comment. If I need to comment is what? It is for the user purpose. Okay, if I want to know, if I see I have designed any application but I know what it is designed for. You doesn't know, but when I add a comment, I'll tell this is the applications for some specific task. I'll be writing the comments that, okay, so this slash is nothing but it is a comment. Okay, so 105 value will be moved into the C. Similarly, when I perform, that is first it is always right hand side to the left hand side. So C minus B, what is the value of C? C is what? 105. Here we don't have the value of C, right? We got the C value from here. So 105 minus, what is the value of B? That is 5. 105 minus 5. So the new value of A. The new value of A will be getting 100. So in our previous example, we had made the value of variable as a constant. A variable, we made it as constant. Therefore, we were unable to change. But when you look at these statements, nowhere we have used the constant as a keyword. So these are all the variables whose value could be changed during execution time. Can you see? The C value got 105. A values actually it was 100, but still after again calculation, here if 100 minus 5, if at all if it is 100 minus 8, the new value A would assume, the new value the A would be getting, because nowhere we have mentioned it as a constant. That's the difference between the variable and constant. Variable whose value could be changed during execution time, but the constant cannot change its value during execution time. Then moving on to the next one, A divided by B, the value will be stored in X. What is A divided by B? So A value is 100, 100 by 5, definitely it will be 20. So the 20 value will be moved in the X. Similarly, C into B. What is the new C? What is the value of C? C value nowhere we have changed, isn't it? Therefore, the C value remains the same. That would be the 105. So 105 into 5, that's 525 will be, the Y value will consist of 525. Next is Y mod B. This is not percentage. This is modulus operator. Just now we have discussed Y. What is the value of Y? Just now we have got that is 525. 525 divided by 5. This is giving us what it is a remainder it is giving, not the quotient. Therefore we are getting, you do the division, 5 divided by 5 you will get the answer as 0, whereas 105 something you will be getting the quotient, I think, right? So this is how the arithmetic operators we can use in the programming concepts. So before we start with the programming concepts, all these tokens, okay, variables, how to define, how we are able to use the constants, how we can use the operators, so all these theory part we should study, then we can go for the programming part. Students, I hope you are able to understand. Now let us move on to the very interesting topic, that is the relational operators. The word says itself, you see, the relational in the sense what it actually shows the relationship between the two operands. Okay, it actually shows the relationship. Say for example, whether A is greater than B or A is less than B, A is greater than or equal to B, or A is not less than B. So it always shows the relationship between the two operands. Okay, and usually what answer it will be generating? Either true or false. Okay, either only it can give true or false. True means value as 1. False means the value as 0. You should understand. True means always the value will be 1. False is always the value it will be having as 0. Understood? So when we are using this relational operators, whenever we can use it with the logical or the conditional operators to construct more complex decision making expression. Say for an example, if I have to see A is greater than B ampersand B is less than C. When like this, such big expressions whenever you are having, okay, when we have more operands to operate and more functions if we have to perform in a single expression, okay, if more mathematical functions if they are there, then in such complex decision making expressions we are using the relational operators. So further with the some examples I'll show you how we are using the relational operators. Now let us see the table. Again, this is a very important 5 marks question. They may ask explain the relational operators with examples. You need to mention the operator, give the description, plus you need to quote the examples like this. Same as it is also you have to write. Okay, you can change the operands. Instead of A and B, you can take C and D, or you can take X and Y. That's left to you. But the operators and its description is a must, and you have to write the correct way of writing, the examples should be there. Now let us assume the value of A to be as 5 and the value of B to be as 10. Now the first operator, what you are seeing, this is actually the equals to operator. Single equals to means it is an assignment operator. That's what I was always telling. The whatever the just this one is an assignment operator. If you want to check for the equality, then it should be double equals to. So therefore you see, checks if the values of two operands are equal or not. That is what A is equals to B. What is the value of A? It's 5. B value is 10. Whether 5 is equals to 10 we are checking. It's wrong, right? 5 is not equal to 10. But what way of answer it is yielding? It is yielding only in terms of true or false. False means it indicates 0 and true means it indicates 1. So therefore this 5 is not equals to 10. Therefore the condition is false here. The result would be false here. Then next one is not equals to. Not equals to means this, whatever this is an exclamatory mark, what you, as an exam for your understanding I'm telling, this is an exclamatory. Actually it is a not symbol. This is a not symbol followed by the equals to operator. Therefore I can call it as not equals to. Look here, it checks the value of two operands are equal or not. It is checking for not equality. Please make it very clear. This is checking for equality and this is checking for not equality. Now therefore you can see A is not equal to B. That means what? 5 is not equal to 10. Yes, the condition is true. The result is true. Therefore I got the answer as true here. Right? I want to say you here, this checks for actually equality. If it is equal, the answer would be true. If it is not equal, the answer would become false. But here we are directly checking for not equality. If it is not equality, here the answer would become true. But if they are not equal, the answer would become true. But if they are equal, the answer would become false. So it is completely vice versa. Okay. Next operator we have is the greater operator, greater than. So checks if the values of two operands is greater than the value of the right operand. Definitely, right? It checks the two operands, whether the left operand is greater than the right operand. That means left operand is this, right operand is this. Whether the left operand is greater than the right operand. So whether 5 is greater than 10, it is checking. 5 is greater than 10? No, condition is false. So here it is giving us the answer as false here. Then we have the less than operator. It actually checks for the values of two operand is less than the value of the right operand. Very much similar to okay students, sorry for the disturbance. So here it is checking for the less than. So A less than B. That means 5 is less than 10. Yes, the condition, the result or the condition is true. So we got the answer here. It is as a true. Then what we are checking greater than or equals to. Both we are checking greater than or equals to. So checks if the values of two operand is greater than or equal to the value of the right operand. This is, it is checking what? Whether 5 is greater than or equal to 10. That is, condition is false. Similarly, we have the less than or equal to. Checks if the values of two operand is less than the right operand. Always we are comparing the left operand with the right operand. So in your when you are writing for the examination, when you are preparing also, it is very easy. But only thing is you need to use the words as operand here, rather than saying it's as a variable, because whenever the operators are being used with the variables, we have to refer them as the operands, and this one we have to refer it as operator, and then we have to refer this one also as an operand. So you can refer it as left and right operands. Okay, so 5 is less than or equals to 10. Yes, the condition is true. Therefore we got the answer as true here. Okay, I hope students you are able to understand. No, so one more example I have written here for you all, so that you can clearly understand. See, this is the different way. It's not only that this way we have to use. So when it comes for the programming concepts, the representation would be different, but we are all using the same, the relational operators itself. Now here let me consider the int r as one of the variable. X value I have given it as 2, I value as 1, z 5, and y to be as 3. Okay, now let us see. R is equal to I double equals to 1. Now what is the value of I here? That is 1. Whether 1 equals to 1, what I am checking for? I am checking for equality. Therefore what would be the value of r? Instead of true, the value of r would become 1. So 1 indicates true. You can write it here as true also, or you can write it as 1 also. Both mean the same, correct? So here what happens? R, okay, equals to x less than y. I am checking. What is the value of x? That is 2. Whether 2 is less than 3, I am checking. 2 is less than 3. Yes, the condition is true. Therefore, again the value of r would be 1. Next, one more what I am having. R, z is greater than y. So what is the value of z here? 5. 5 is greater than 3. Yes, the condition is true. Again, we got r to be as 1 here, the value. Next, you see, what is the value of y? That is 3. Whether 3 is greater than or equals to 4, condition becomes false now. When it is false, I need to represent with the 0. Then we are here, what we are doing here, we are checking for the not equality. Okay, what is the value of x here? Okay, what is the value of x? X is 2. Whether 2 is not equal to 1, yes, the condition is true. And because I am checking for the not equality, therefore the value of r would become 1. And finally, the last one what we are having is that is r is equals to I less than 1. What is the value of I? 1. Whether 1 is less than 1, here the condition becomes false. So I hope you are able to understand what is the importance of operators and how we have to use the different arithmetic and the relational operators. So these are some different examples, but during examination you have to write this one. They'll be asking for 5 marks. Okay, when they are asking for 5 marks, each one operator will carries 1 marks. If they are asking for 3 marks, if they are asking, then you can write any 3 or 4 you can write, but the operator description plus quoting an example is a must and should. Students, I hope you are able to understand. So we have the further few more operators we'll be having, but those will be discussing in the next video. Students, take care of yourself. Thank you, students.